Kelly from Moonbeam Gems Tarot, and I'm going to be doing your bi-weekly rune weekend spread. I'm going to be doing it for all elements, and hopefully I'm going to be able to do this every 2 weeks, so it will be bi-weekly. I will be doing it for elements until further notice, and maybe I will change it depending on feedback that I get. Maybe it'll be for each zodiac sign, depending. We'll see how it goes, okay? So to start with, I think we're going to start with the element of earth, okay? So here's my runes. So how it's going to work is I'm going to pick 3 runes. Your first rune will be the overview, for the weekend. The second rune is a challenge that you may encounter or you may be going through, and then your last rune, so the third rune, would be your course of action, okay? So that's how it's going to work. All right, so let's start with the element of earth. Okay, let's pull a rune for this weekend spread. So that will be for March 13th, 14th, and the 15th. Let's see. Okay, so for your first rune, we have, for the overview for earth, we have harvest. Okay. So let's see here. So it is called Jetta, so it is harvest or fertile season. And this rune is upright, so whether it's in the upright or in the reverse, it's still the same, okay? Same message. So I'm just going to record this because I want to make sure that I have a record of this just in case. All right, so let's see what we have as an overview for this weekend for Earth. So this rune applies to any activity or endeavor to which you are committed. Be aware, however, that no link results can be expected. A span of time is usually involved, hence the key words 1 year, symbolizing a full cycle before the reaping, the harvest, or deliverance. You have prepared the ground and planted the seed. Now you must cultivate with care. To those whose labor has a long season, a long coming to term, Jetta offers encouragement of success. Know that the outcome is in the keeping of providence and continue to persevere. Remember the old story about the farmer who was so eager to assist his crops that he went out into the night and tugged on the new shoots? There is no way to push the river. Equally, you cannot hasten the harvest. Be mindful that patience is essential for the recognition of your own process, which in its season leads to the harvest of the self. Okay, so this is for your overview. Basically what it talks about is that it's kind of time to harvest, right? Whatever it is that you've been working on, and 1 year is that key word. So definitely whatever it is that you're going to be dealing with this weekend, it's something that possibly you've been working towards for quite some time, okay? So let's see, and I'm putting it back into the bag just because you never know. Sometimes you might pick the same rune, believe it or not. You'll shake the bag, and that's happened to me before where I've picked the same rune. All right, so let's look at what your challenge is going to be, Earth, for March, what is it, 13th, 14th, and the 15th. Let's see, for this weekend. All right, so I believe that is in the reverse. Yes, it is. Actually, it is in the reverse. Okay, so Laguz and it's in the reverse. So it stands for flow water, or that which conducts. Okay, so reversed, it's a counsel against overreach and excessive striving. Drawing flow reversed is a warning against trying to exceed your own strength or operate beyond the power you have funded to date in your life. Laguz reversed often indicates a failure to draw upon the wisdom of instinct. As a result, the intuitive side of your nature may be languished, leaving you out of balance, which is called, for now, is to go within. Okay, to honor the receptive side of your warrior nature. Okay, so clearly this week your challenge is going to be using your intuition and really listening to that inner voice, right? Maybe whatever it is that you're taking on, it might be a little too much for you. So, and maybe there's that little voice inside of your head that you're kind of been putting aside, not listening to. I think it's time to listen, right? Let's see what your course of action is. Okay, so let's see. What's the course of action for the element of Earth for March 13th to the 15th? So that one is going to be, and that's upright or reversed. Either way is the same, right? So this one's called Hagalaz, which is disruption, elemental power. Okay, so change, freedom, invention, and liberation are all attributes of this rune. And drawing it indicates a pressing need within the psyche to break free from constricting identification with material reality and to experience the world of archetypal mind, the rune of elemental disruption of events that seem to be totally beyond your control. Hagalaz has only an upright position, and yet it always operates through reversal. When you draw this rune, expect disruption, for it is a great awakener. Although the form the awakening takes may vary, perhaps you will experience a gradual feeling of coming to your senses, as though you are emerging from a deep sleep. Then again, the onset of power may be such as to rip away the fabric of what you previously knew as your reality, your security, your understanding of yourself, your work, your relationships, or beliefs. Disruption takes many forms. A relationship fails, plans go awry, a source of supply dries up. Do not be dismayed, whether you created this disruption or whether it comes from an outside source. You are not without power in this situation. Your inner strength and will you have funded until now in your life provides support and guidance at a time when everything you've taken for granted is being challenged. Another of the cycle runes, the term radical discontinuity, best describes the action of Hagalaz as its most forceful. The more severe the disruption in your life, the more significant and timely the requirements for your growth. The universe and your own soul are demanding that you do indeed grow. Okay, so that is your course of action. All right, so that was for the element of Earth. Okay, so let's put that in the bag. And next we're going to move on to fire. Yes, I'm gonna do fire. Okay, so let's see. What do we have as an overview for the element of fire for March 13th to the 15th? Let's see. Wow, look at that. So your overview is basically what Earth got, right, as their course of action. So Hagelas, right? So that's about disruption. Okay, so I guess that's what your weekend is going to be about, right? So I'm not going to go over the same rune. If you would like to go back and listen to the course of action for Earth, okay? I haven't time-stamped this video at all, but if anyone would like to timestamp, you are more than welcome to. If not, go back and have a listen. This reading isn't meant to be super long, so it shouldn't, yeah, I'm not going to go over it again, okay? I just finished reading that exact same. I kind of mentioned that sometimes you'll pull the same rune, all right? So there is your overview. All right, so I'm going to record that for you guys. All right, so let's look at what your challenge is going to be for the element of fire for the weekend of March 13th to the 15th. Okay. All right, so let's look at this rune. So this is Dagas, right? Which is all about breakthrough and transformation, okay? So your challenge this weekend will be in regards to that, okay? So regardless, this is upright in the reverse, right? Okay, so this is the final rune belonging to the cycle of initiation. So drawing this rune often signals a major shift or breakthrough in the process of self-change, a complete transformation in attitude, a 180-degree turn. For some, the transition is so radical that they are no longer able to live the ordinary life in the ordinary way. Because the timing is right, the outcome is assured, although not from the present vantage point predictable. In each life, there comes at least one moment which, if recognized and seized, transforms and course of that life forever. Rely, therefore, on radical trust, even though the moment may call for you to leap empty-handed into the void. With this rune, your warrior nature reveals itself. If Dagas is followed by a blank rune, the magnitude of the transformation might be so great as to portend a death, the successful conclusion to your passage. Okay, a major period of achievement and prosperity is often introduced by this rune. The darkness is behind you, daylight has come. Nevertheless, you are reminded not to collapse yourself into thoughts for the future or behave recklessly in your new situation. Considerable hard work can be involved in a time of transformation. Undertake to do it joyfully. Okay, so your challenge for this week is going to be in regards to this transformation or breakthrough. I kind of feel like the fire element has kind of been, this has been an ongoing thing for you guys. I don't think that this is just, this is just in regards to this weekend. I kind of feel like this is something that, yeah. Anyways, let's look at, okay, put it back in the bag. And let's see what your course of action would be for the element of fire for the weekend of March 13th to the 15th. Let's see. Okay. I believe that is in the reverse. Yeah. Oh, no, it's, I believe, has to do with a warrior. Yeah, so it is in the reverse. So it is Tewas. Okay, and it's in the reverse. So it's about the warrior, Twig, the sky god. So the danger is that through hasty or ill-timed action, life force leaks out or is spilled away. If an association is short-lived, do not grieve. Know that it has fulfilled its span. Matters of trust and confidence are an issue here, and with them, the authenticity of your way of being in the world. Reverse, 2 calls for examining your motives carefully. Is it self-conquest with which you are concerned, or are you trying to dominate another? Are you lusting after outcomes, or are you focused on the task for its own sake? You'll find the answers within yourself. Do not out for yourself, not in outside advice. When you consult the runes, you are consulting the self, an action appropriate to the spiritual warrior. Okay, so that is your course of action. So basically, it's time to consult yourself, right? Going within, finding those answers for yourself, right? But it's also, it's taking the time, right? It's not about moving quickly, right? Like, I kind of feel like I pictured the, what was it, the Knight of Swords when I pulled this, okay? Because it has very much, it does have that energy of that moving hastily, moving rapidly, quickly, right? And it, of course, it's the warrior. And when I look at the Knight of Swords, that's what I kind of see, that knight in shining armor with his sword out or lance out, like basically charging forward. Okay, so that is that for my fire signs. And next I'm going to do water. Okay, so let's see what we have for water. What is your overview for the weekend of March 13th to the 15th for the element of water? Let's see. So I'm just going to record that. All right. So I believe that one is in the upright. I believe this has to do with separation as well. Yeah. So it's Othelia. It's the rune, Othelia, and it's regarding separation, retreat, or inheritance. This is the time of separating paths. Old skin must be shed, outmoded relationships discarded. When you receive this rune, a peeling away is called for. Part of the cycle of initiation, Othelia is the rune of radical severance. The appropriate action here is submission and quite possibly retreat. Knowing how and when to retreat and possessing the firmness of will to carry it out. Real property is associated with Othelia, for it is the rune of acquisition and benefits. However, the benefits you receive, the inheritance, may be derived from something you must give up. This can be particularly demanding when what you are called upon to abandon is some aspect of your behavior, a part of your cultural inheritance. For then, when you must look closely at what, until now, you have proudly claimed as your birthright. Whether it is your attachment to your position in society, to the work you do, or even to your beliefs about your own nature, the separation called for will free you to become more truly who you are. Okay? So I kind of feel, water, your overview for this weekend is, again, in regards to separation. It's there, whatever it is that, you know, and again, for you, it just depends on the situation, right? Maybe it's separation from a person, separation from work, right? Regardless, it just calls for that sense of, you know, having to retreat. All right, I kind of noticed we've got a little bit of a trend here in regards to some of these runes. Again, it's like knowing yourself, right? And talked about knowing when to retreat, right? So, and how you're going to do that without really getting to know yourself and like going within again, right? For others, this inheritance doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. Like for some, it can be. There may be an inheritance, something that may be coming up. Maybe some of you have lost a loved one, and, you know, there's a will involved. For others of you, again, it's just doesn't always have to be monetary. It could be something is being left to you. That's more physical rather than just money. But yeah. All right, so that would be your overview. Let's see what your challenge is, water. Okay, what is the challenge for the element of water for March 13th to the 15th? Okay. So, and I believe that one is in the reverse as well. We have, yep. So now threes, and it's in the reverse. Okay, so it's about constraint, necessary, pain. So as a part of the cycle of initiation, Nothes is the great teacher disguised as the bringer of pain and limitation. It has been said that only at the moment of greatest darkness do we become aware of the light within and come to recognize the true creative power of the self. When something within you is disowned, that which is disowned wreaks havoc. A cleansing is required here, and in undertaking it, you fund a will and strengthen character. Begin with what is most difficult and proceed to it that which is easy. Or conversely, begin with what is easy and proceed to that which is most difficult. Either way, remember that suffering in its original sense merely meant undergoing. Thus, you are required to undergo the dark side of your passage and bring it into the light, controlling your anger, restraining your impulses, keeping your faith firm. All this is at an issue here. Modesty and good temper are essential at such a challenging time. Okay, and that's going to be your challenge for the weekend. Okay, so again, it's constraint is having to do with maybe keeping your mouth shut, right? For some of you, maybe there's, again, right, something that, because I believe what we talked about, the whole separation, right? As your overview, maybe your challenge is going to be keeping your mouth shut and not, yeah. There's always going to be a light and a dark, right? And it's embracing that, like really embracing yourself. Like you can't, nobody is ultimately all good or ultimately all bad, right? You're going to have a moment of weakness. There's going to be days where, you know, you might not say the nicest things to people, but it's ultimately, you knowing that maybe you're not in a good mood right now. Maybe I shouldn't be around individuals, right? Like the whole maybe separation means separating yourself from others at this time, right? Some people, again, it's the whole going into hermit mode as well, right? Like kind of distancing yourself and really going within. So water signs. So let's figure out what your course of action is going to be for, okay, let's see, course of action for the element of water for March 13th to the 15th. So let's see. Ooh, another reversal. I believe this is possessions. So fahu, possessions, nourishment, or cattle. So reversed, there may be considerable frustration in your life if you draw this rune. Okay, a wide range of, right, okay, so it could be a wide range ranging from trivial to severe. Ooh, so a lot of, well, I'm not surprised given your challenge and your overview, right? You fall short in your efforts. You reach out and miss. You are compelled to stand by and watch helplessly while what you've gained dwindles away. Observe what is happening. Examine these events from an open perspective and ask, what do I need to learn from this in my life? Even if there is occasion for joy, do not let yourself be seduced into mindless joyousness. Reverse, this rune indicates that doubtful situations are abundant and come in many forms and guises. Here you are being put in touch with the shadow side of possessions. Yet all this is part of coming to be and passing away, and not that which abides. In dealing with the shadow side of Fehu, you have an opportunity to recognize where your true nourishment lies. Okay, so there is your course of action. I'll just record that. Right, so again, it's knowing, right? We all have that dark side and that light side, right? But again, it's knowing that that's okay, right? Not everything every day is going to work out for you. We all have ups and downs, right? But again, I feel like it's more of a time this weekend for you water signs where you're probably going to have to kind of sit in contemplation about certain things, whatever it is that, you know, and everyone's kind of going through different things, whether it's in regards to relationships, right? Relationships of all kinds, whether it's family or friends, co-workers, romantic relationships, right? And again, that shadow side of you is, I kind of feel like, embrace it, right? You're going to have those moments where you might have those negative thoughts, and it's okay, right? Like, we can't always be cheerful every single day, right? Like, but at the same time, you don't kick someone when they're down, right? So you're not going to put yourself down for it. Just embrace the fact that this is what's going on. You know, what do I need to learn from this at this moment, right? Everything happens for a reason. So again, it's using this time or using this situation to kind of better yourself. All right, so we are on to the element of air, and that will be it for the rune reading. So let's see, what is the overview for the element of air for the weekend of March 13th to the 15th? Let's see. Okay, so let me record that. And this one is an upright. All right, so this is Ewas. All right, so it's defense, avertive powers, U tree. As we are tested, we fund the power to avert blockage and defeat. At the same time, we develop in ourselves an aversion to the conduct that creates stress in our lives. If there appears to be an obstacle in your path, consider that even a delay may prove beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward, for this is not a time or situation in which you can make your influence felt. Patience is the counsel that this rune offers, okay? Nothing hectic, no acting needy or lusting after a desired outcome. This rune speaks to the difficulties that can arise at the beginning of a new life. Often it announces a time of waiting for spring to fill up with water, for fruit to ripen on the burrow. Perseverance and foresight are called for here. The ability to foresee consequences before you act is a mark of the profound person. Avert anticipated difficulties through right action. This rune is saying, and yet even more than we are doers, we are deciders. Once the decision is clear and doing becomes effortless, for then the universe supports and empowers our action. Receiving this rune, you are put on notice that through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. This may well be a trying time. Certainly it is a meaningful one. So set your house in order, tend to your business, be clear, and wait on the will of heaven. So I kind of get that your overview for this weekend has to do with a bit of patience. Okay. There's going to be, like, I kind of feel there's almost like this new beginning starting for you, I kind of sense. And again, I don't necessarily think, again, it could be relationship wise, maybe it's a new job, but it's definitely something that you're starting new. For others of you, maybe you're on this spiritual quest, okay? Really looking at yourself, or for others of you, it's like you've been doing this for a while, okay? Like, I feel like this is not something that you started this weekend. This has been an ongoing working at yourself, right? Like, really bettering yourself in a way, right? So again, this weekend's all about getting your house in order and really tending to, whether it's your business, right? Hunkering down and focusing on that. Maybe I feel like you've been taking on a few different things, and some of which you're very passionate about, right? So it's really taking the time to set aside for that, right? The passion, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, so let's look at what your challenge is going to be. So let's see what the challenge for the element of air for March 13th to the 15th. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to record that. Okay, so this, regardless, is upright, I believe. And it's Perth, which has to do with initiation, something hidden. Yeah, so on camera it's kind of reversed, but it did fall in the upright, so I'm not sure if that's showing up reversed or not, but there we go. So, heretic or mystery rune pointing to that which is beyond our frail manipulative powers. Perth is on the side of heaven, the unknowable, and has associations with the phoenix, that mystical bird which consumes itself in the fire and then rises from its own ashes. Its ways are secret and hidden. Powerful forces of change are at work here, yet what is achieved is not easily or readily shared. After all, becoming whole, the means of it, is a profound secret. On the side of the earthly or mundane, there may well be surprises, gains, or rewards that you did not anticipate. On the side of human nature, this rune is symbolized by the flight of the eagle, soaring flight free from entanglement, lifting yourself above the endless ebb and flow of ordinary life to acquire broader vision. All this is indicated here. Another of the cycle runes, Perth stands at the heart of initiation. Nothing external matters here except as it shows you its inner reflection. This rune is concerned with the deepest stratum of your being, the bedrock on which your destiny is founded. For some, Perth means experiencing a death. It need be let go of everything, no expectations, no exclusions, nothing less than renewal of your spirit is at stake when you draw this rune. Okay, so for some of you, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna die. This has to do with you. It's a challenge, so it could be that you're having to deal with or the impact of a death. And it doesn't necessarily mean like it's a physical death or that you're dealing with. It could just be the death of self, okay, or death of ego, I should say, rather than self. Maybe you're dropping that ego, right? And letting go. I think that's kind of more so what I'm feeling here. that letting go, right? Let go of everything, no expectations, no exclusions, right? So for some of you, that is a challenge, right? I can totally see that being a challenge, right? It's hard to let go of things that we, you know, conditioning and shit that we've been dealing with like for our whole lives, right? But I feel like, again, air signs, you've been on this journey. Like, this is something, this isn't new. You've been working towards this, okay? So let's see what your course of action is for the element of air for March 13th to the 15th. Let's see here. Ooh. All right. All right, so this is Isa. Okay, so stand still, withdrawal, or ice. The winter of the spiritual life is upon you. You may find yourself entangled in a situation to whose implications you are, in effect, blind. You may feel powerless to do anything except submit, surrender, even sacrifice some long-cherished desire. Be patient, for this is the period of gestation that precedes a rebirth. Positive accomplishment is unlikely now. There is a freeze on useful activity. All your plans are on hold. You may be experiencing an unaccustomed drain on your energy and wonder why. A chill wind is reaching you over the ice flows of old, outmoded habits. Trying to hold on can result in shallowness of feeling, a sense of being out of touch with life. Seek to discover what it is you are holding onto that perpetuates this condition and let go. Shed, release, cleanse away the old. Doing so will bring on the thaw. Usually, Isa requires a sacrifice of the personal, the I. At such a time, you cannot hope to rely on help or friendly support, and yet there is no reason for anxiety. Submit and be still, for what you are experiencing is not necessarily the result of your actions or habits, but rather arises from conditions about which you can do nothing. What has been full must empty. What has increased must decrease. This is the way of heaven and earth. To surrender is to display courage and wisdom. And yet there is another face to standstill. Just as winter is a time for going within, drawing Isa can announce a time of restoration and renewal at the deepest level. In your solitude, exercise caution and do not stubbornly persist in attempting to work your will. Remain mindful that the seed of the new is present in the shell of the old, the seed of unrealized potential, the seed of the good. Trust your own process and watch for signs of spring. So, I kind of get the sense that this is all to do with patience, okay? So, this new life, this new beginning, whatever it is that you've been working on, air signs, I believe this weekend, what's going to be challenging for you is you're going to have to, again, it's letting go, releasing the ego, and just being patient with yourself, okay, with your growth. I feel that there's a lot of change, or has been a lot of change in the last while for you. And this isn't, and again, it's different for all individuals, right? This isn't a personal read. This is just an elements collective read, right? So again, you can all be dealing with things or different things, right? But the runes it's a general, right? So regardless, this still talks about a standstill, right? Withdrawal. So just wait, hold back, don't, right? It's kind of what I'm sensing for you for this weekend, okay? As your course of action. All right, so that has been this rune reading. Okay, so it's my first rune reading that I'm doing for, I guess for the month of March. So I will be doing another Rune weekend spread for elements again, possibly not next week, but the following week. So that would be for the 27th to the 29th of March. So do look forward to that. Again, if you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're notified the next time I upload a video. Okay. Do also have a look at my monthly reads. I will be putting out the mid-month reads hopefully this weekend. They'll be I've been super busy this week. Yeah, so it's been even for me, I've had quite a bit of action happening, so I'm going to try to get them out as in a timely fashion as best as I can. So do forgive me if they don't come out until midweek, or at least I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it should be on uploaded, hopefully recorded and uploaded for the 16th or 17th at the latest, your mid-month. But yeah, so do look forward to another Rune element reading, collective read for the, what was it, the 27th to the 29th. All right, so that has been your reading. Again, as always, many blessings, and have a good night.